So welcome on in, everybody, to the Bowtie Radio podcast, episode number 3. We've been away for some time, so we got a little bit of catching up to do, and I'm excited to say we're back. It's just been a crazy couple weeks, crazy couple months. It's really prohibited us from doing this, and I will tell you that from here on out, I am actually making the promise to you that we're going to keep doing this. We're going to do it pretty often. These things, as you probably know, are only 15 minutes or so in length, but hopefully when you get into it, there's a couple good things that come your way. We give some good information regarding marketing in real estate and really small business. It doesn't really matter where you're at. It doesn't make any difference where you're at. There's some good stuff that comes out of these podcasts for you. As we always tell you in the beginning, at the end, you can always follow us at GeneVolpe.com. You can follow us at Gene Volpe on Twitter. You can get at us on YourRealEstateConcierge.com. So let's just get right into it. We have a couple big things to talk about this week. So the topic of this show we wanted to talk about was mindset and being an entrepreneur and how that mindset affects you. So earlier this week I was invited to a Millionaire Mindset event. It was a freebie, but it was a good one. I got a chance to sit for about 4 hours and talk to people that are like-minded and listen to people talk about how to get past that hurdle, that next step. As an entrepreneur, you hit the walls. There's tons of walls. So you want to make sure that your head's always in the right spot. And there's a couple things that play into that, right? So it's not just mindset. It's not just waking up in the morning and saying, it's a pretty day out there, I'm going to kick today's ass. And really, that's obviously one of the things that you want to say when you do it, but here's the reality of it. There's a couple elements that come into play when it comes to mindset, and I'm learning these late in life. Unfortunately, I didn't know this when I was 20, otherwise I would have been beasting a long time ago, but here's the reality. There are so many elements in your life that are so important that roll into your mindset, right? So I was listening to this person talking. They were saying on stage, you can't sell when you're in a bad mood. You're not able to put your best foot forward when things are going through your head. When you're not free and clear in your mind, you're just not going to be at your best, and you're not going to sell. And I'll tell you a story about when I started to become real successful in the selling arena was when I made a jump in my mindset from actually selling and wanting people to buy my product over to when I became good at it. It was because I made a conscious effort and decision, and really, I can't say it was conscious. I think it kind of happened overnight. Not really overnight, but over a bunch of different time, over a bunch of different sales ops. But what it was I got to the point where I realized that the service that we were providing as a company was something that could benefit the people I was talking to. So I went from a salesman to, hey, I'm here to actually help you. Am I going to get paid? Of course, because my time is not free. It's very expensive. My time is valuable. But the reality of it is if you see the benefit in what we're putting across to you, I don't have to sell it to you anymore. You know you need it, and I'm here to help you. And so I made a transition in my head from wanting and needing it. You go from that the salesman of, oh, God, I need to pay my bills this month. Please buy my service. I need that check. That's a desperate plea and attempt to sell your service. And when you're in that mindset, people aren't going to believe that your service is worth it. They think you're out there just peddling your wares, right? So when we made that conscious effort and conscious decision to get across that bridge and say, realistically, the service I'm selling, quote-unquote selling and providing to these clients is something there's a demand for it. There's a need for it. And so when I got to that point in my mind and I started to sit in front of people, there was a different body language. Instead of sitting up on the desk with my hands on the desk pleading for business, I was back with my legs crossed, just listening. So it went from me selling to listening and being able to put myself in a position that when I heard what this potential client was, what it was that they needed, I would fit my service into what it was. And in most cases, I went from cold calling and seeking out these agents and business owners because I wanted them to look at our service to people started to call us because they knew what it was that we were doing, and they knew that what we were doing was worth sitting down and at least listening to. And so when I made that conscious mindset change in my head, selling became less selling and more helping. And really, that was a shift in the success of some of the things that I do. I realized that I don't have to feel guilty about getting paid for my services. I'm good at what I do. Our company's good at what we do. And so if you sit and listen to me, and I'm not selling you any BS, if you sit and listen to what it is that we have out there for you, you're going to make a conscious decision for yourself. And you're going to say, yeah, I need it, I'm willing to pay, or no, I don't. And I don't think it's something that I'm interested in pursuing. And that's fine. And what that ended up doing for me, too, was actually cutting down on the amount of time that I was spending getting in front of the client. So instead of me trying to sell you everything, I started to listen and pigeonhole what you needed from us, and basically was able to say, well, look, we have a service like this that can help exactly what it is that you needed. So when I was in front of an agent or a client and they're saying, I need a website built, I'm not out there showing them about our videos and photo tours or our social media management, because I might as well be pitching them a new type of pasta. Like, what difference did it make? So the mindset from a perspective of really being understanding of our services, and the fact that we were given something that was generally needed across the United States, let's say, and I'm just saying locally to me in my area, but across the United States, that was a mind shift for me. But I got to tell you that there's other things that played into that. So, for example, health, family, and relationships. And so one of the things I always like to put across there is when we started this, I had a very good friend that turned into a coach. His name is Ed Fordyce. And he's the CEO of one of the Keller Williams offices out here. And I met him by accident. We were doing business with his office, and we became friends. And we sat down one day, and I was 215 pounds and feeling like crap, looking like crap. Not that I look great now, but looking way worse. And one of these days, I'll post something out about my before and after. I'm down about 50 pounds, 45 pounds, in that range. But I'm going to tell you how this played in. It jumped in and helped my mindset. Here's why. He said to me, if you had a triangle of things, 3 things that you know you needed to pay attention to and work on, and that were important to your success moving forward, what would they be? And I said health, business/money, and family. And he said, okay, if you were to say at the top of that triangle lies X, and that feeds the other 2 at the bottom of the triangle, what would you say? And I said, business. That's easy. And he said, why? I said, well, because when money's flowing, everything else works out. And he said, listen to me, man, you got it backwards. And I said, I don't believe you, but all right. And he said, here's the deal. When you operate and work on your health, and you work on you first, everything else will fall in place. And I kind of looked at him, cockeye. You know, they call it the stink face. You know, and for the people that are watching the video, you give them that old, what? Like, huh? And he said, listen to me. We're sitting together, and you trust me, don't you? And I said, of course. And he said, you listen to what I'm saying, and you think I know what I'm talking about? And I said, that I do. And he said, just listen to me. Give it 30 days. And if it doesn't work, you come back to me and tell me I'm a screwball. And if it does work, we work on it further. And I said, you know what? I'm in. I got nothing to lose. You know, they say the definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing, expecting different results. And that's kind of what I was doing. I was eating like a pig. I was eating once a day at 9:30, cheesesteaks and mozzarella sticks, and I was fighting with my wife, and business wasn't great, and I couldn't figure out why. So I said, well, what the hell? Let's give it a whirl. So that day, he actually got me up and work, because I told him, I said, listen, I'm this kooky kind of guy. I need to be able to start on a Monday. I need a fresh slate. Like, Monday has to be, I can't do this on a Thursday. I need to be able to pig out Friday, Saturday, and drink, and then I'll start Monday. I'll clear it. And he said, get up. And we were in the middle of a Starbucks, and I said, what? And he was in a suit. He said, get up. And I looked at him, and I said, all right, I'll get up. So we got up, and I just followed him out the door, grabbed the iPads, all of our digital devices, walked out. Now, we're on Westchester Pike, which in my area is it's a main strip that goes from the city up 25 miles to Westchester, which is why they call it Westchester Pike. And but it's busy. It's got 2 lanes on either side, and there's a lot of traffic. So we're walking, hustling at a pretty brisk pace up Route 3. And I turned and looked at him, and I was like, yo, bro. He's like, what? I said, what are we doing? He said, you just told me you can't get up on a Wednesday and start your training. You can't start your blood flow, and you can't start working out. And I said, I know. And he went, what are we doing right now? And I said, well, we're walking, and it's Wednesday. You got me. So he changed my mind shift to say, I don't really need that. That was actually something in my world that I needed to fix, but he helped me with that. And I will tell you, and somewhere down the road, maybe for Christmas, we'll go back, because one of my best health stories goes around Christmas and my wife and the family. I'll come back to this somewhere down the road, but when I lost weight, I started to feel better about myself. And when I started to feel better about myself, I started to operate differently in my house. And I wasn't sitting around like a fat pig. And when I wasn't sitting around like a fat pig, I was doing things around the house proactively as opposed to my wife yelling at me. And when I was feeling better about myself and feeling more confident, I was walking higher with my shoulders popped out, my head up. I wasn't looking down. And when I was feeling healthier, I could go on and on, right? But here's what happens. That confidence level grows. Your mindset sits into a different space, and then guess what? You're selling better. And so when I was going out to these clients, I started to realize I didn't need them, they needed me. And that changed everything. So the mindset behind all of this is the most important element. Whatever it needs to be in the morning that makes you feel good about getting up and doing what you do, whether it's kissing your kids or reading the Bible, whatever it is that you do, just get in front of it and do it. Feel good, treat your body right, do the right things. Now listen, don't get me wrong. If you know me, you probably know that I love to have fun. I like to drink, wine, smoke cigars, beer, and I eat. I'm from Philly. I eat cheesesteaks, bread, pasta. I'm Italian. That's what we do. But I've learned how to control that a little bit. And you guys know I'm a CrossFit freak. I love that. CrossFit's been a huge element. And when I talk about the health element of this mindset, I'm not saying go to CrossFit. I'm saying do you. Do whatever it is that you need to do to get your head in the right space. Again, reading, yoga. Yoga's awesome. Anything. Just do it. And you'll start to find out, and by the way, be patient with it, because it's not something that 2 days later you're going to feel better. This is a 6, 8, 12-month process. But dedicate yourself to it, and you'll be a better all-around person. It's an important element. You will be more successful in business when you look at your health, because it feeds your mindset, which is the most important part of what it is that you're going to do in life. Okay? So now, we talked about mindset. That was the key topic to this podcast today. I want to talk about just a couple other things real quick before we close it down. A couple news items that we're going to start talking about. We're going to do each week a little bit of a news item, technology-based. In this particular case, there's two that are technology-based. One that is not technology-based. This is more human-based, but it's something worth talking about because it was a great story. So let's talk about Microsoft 10. Article came out this week that they're going to release it to testers on July 29th. That's kind of neat. I'm excited to see what it looks like, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to load it on my PC. I'm not going to load it on my workstation. I will wait for it to fail for other people first. That's just what you should do when it comes to new technology. I get people to call me and say, the new Samsung X came out. What do you do? I said, you wait 6 months. Let them work out the bugs and the kinks, and then apply it to your business if it seems to make sense. Because, everybody has that friend, right? Everybody's got that friend. I got the new Samsung 872. That's awesome. How do you like it? I love it. When'd you get it? Yesterday. Okay, great. You go back to them 3 months later, I hate this piece of crap. Why? It's buggy. It keeps rebooting. And I'm not knocking Samsung. I have Samsung. I'm looking for my Samsung. I'm actually doing a Periscope cast right now doing this, which I'm going to talk about item 2, but I'm looking for my Samsung. It's recording me right in my face. I'm a Samsung guy. That's my thing. But anytime they roll out new software and new hardware, there's some bugs they got to get through, and Microsoft 10 is probably going to be no different. I'm just guessing. So what do you want to do? What I would say is, if you're not a geek, just wait. If you are a geek, launch it on a server/PC/laptop that you're not reliant on every single day. So if you have problems, it's not a big deal. Use your Office PC, your Windows 7, your Apple, whatever it is, use that, and next to it run the Windows 10. So apparently around July 29th, they're coming out with the new version to their testers, so we'll start to hear about it. We'll report on that back down the road. The second piece of this is Periscope. Since the last time we spoke, my tenses are all off, and that's actually not a real word, but since the last time we spoke, Periscope came out, and as I say that, my Periscope app actually crashes. So my Periscope live feed, just crashed while I'm talking about it. Nothing against Periscope. I'm sure it's internal here to the office. But here's what I want to tell you. This is a live video feed based off of Twitter. So look it up. It's a free download on Samsung. I shouldn't say Samsung. Android, as well as the Apple OSs. Download it, mess around with it. It's pretty simple. It's cut and dry, straightforward, easy to use. I'm totally addicted to it. It's kind of strange how it's making, and not me, don't take this the wrong way, It's making superstars out of ordinary people. And you'll see what I mean when you get on there. It's unbelievable. But what we're doing is we're looking for ways to infuse it into our marketing campaign. So one of the things we're messing around with now is in the real estate field, we are using it to do live open houses. And you got to figure out a couple different ways to utilize it and make sure that you're promoting it the right way when you're getting ready to launch it, because it's live, right? So I hit Periscope live feed now, and guess what happens? I'm on the air. So you're not able to say, I'm going to launch. Well, you really are. This is where it gets tricky. But I'm going to launch a live open house Periscope feed at 2:30. Come join me. But again, it's tied to Twitter. Download it. If you have questions or concerns, you can always go to Twitter and hit us up at Gene Volpe, at URRE Concierge, and then hashtag Bowtie Radio. And we're always looking for that stuff. We will answer all your questions. You can always email us, too. You can email me at info@genevolpe.com if you have questions. I love this stuff. I love it. And it's going to be incorporated. All the best agents are using it. I'm starting to see real estate agents now and marketing people using it. There's a mechanic I follow on it, which is kind of funny. I'm not a car guy by any stretch, but he's in the shop every day, and he's launching these periscopes about different things, elements of the car. And I know that there's gearheads out there that are just eating it up. It's not my thing. I love to check in because I think it's cool. That's just so out of my league. I don't get it. But I know there's people sucking that up, and they're loving every minute of it. So Periscope, look into it. It's definitely going to change the way we do social media. It's going to change the way we market. I'm not quite sure how it is yet. I am still wrapping my head around it, but I can guarantee it's a mover and a shaker. And then the last piece I wanted to talk about before we fold it up for this week, Devin and Leah Still. I don't know if you guys have been following this. I'm an Instagram guy, and I've been following this guy, Devin Still, for the last year or so. Devin Still's a professional football player, and he's actually, I think he graduated from Penn State, and he is a Cincinnati Bengal now. But he just won the other night on the ESPYs. You may have seen him. Big guy, crazy goatee. And he was talking up there. His daughter, Leah, was diagnosed with some kind of cancer, and he said it, and I'm not going to try to relay it what it was because I'd mess it up 10 times till Sunday. And if you know anything about me, you also know that my father died of cancer, so that hits near and dear to my heart. Not to mention, she's like a 5 or 6 year old little girl, and I have 2 girls of my own. So there's so many things as a father, as a husband, as a son of somebody who passed from it. It just hit on so many levels. But I've been watching this guy, Devin, for a long time, and he's just by her side as she's treated. She was recently just announced into remission, and I know I didn't say that right, but you get what I'm saying. And they won an award on the ESPYs the other night, for which he gave a speech. Now, she had just gotten out from some treatment that they just did, so she wasn't there. She sent a 5-second video message, which was really cute. But he did a 4-minute speech on there, and man, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't lie to you. I was crying like a baby to the point where some of it I couldn't even see because I was beside myself. So what I would recommend, if you really want to take a step back and just, you talk about mindset and all that stuff and just want to be grateful for things that are going on in your world, understanding that people just have it worse than you do. Just Google search Devin Still, Leah Still, ESPY Awards or ESPY speech. And like I said, I could have been 15 minutes for all I know. I feel like it was a 5-minute speech, but man, it was good. Wasn't Jimmy V good, but jeez, it was close. God, it was close. So if you get a chance, Google that on YouTube and send me a message what you thought about it. Love to hear from you. But again, this is Gene Volpe from Bowtie Radio. We're excited to be back with you. I appreciate you being patient. I got a lot of phone calls and texts and emails from people saying, when's the next episode coming out? I'm flattered by it. But we're back in the game. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. We had fun doing it. And by we, I mean me and my alter egos. And until next time, like I said, you can reach out to us. We can be easily found on Twitter at Gene Volpe. You can check us out at genevolpe.com and make a comment. Or you can call us at 267-88-VOLPE. And no, I'm not kidding about that. 267-88-VOLPE. And until next time, I hope everybody that's listening has a prosperous week. I hope you take one nugget of information that I just gave you and apply it to your life and your business, and I hope you're happy because of it. Until next time, signing off. Have a great week, folks.